Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2026, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. Well, what's the number one song on the Billboard Global 200 this week and these last few weeks? The number one song is Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. It marks the first time that Michael has held the top position on the chart that began in September 2020. And it seems that the movie Michael has spurred a whole new interest in Michael Jackson. If you've seen the movie, the young man who plays Michael, his nephew, is absolutely wonderful. And the little kid that plays Michael as a little kid is outstanding and can do all the dances that Michael did. Kenneth Kelly, who I served with on the board of the Melton Scholars at Auburn University. Kenneth Kelly has been named the Michiganian, I hope I said that right, Michiganian of the Year. Michiganian is a more formal term. You also go by Michigalander, but speaking of Kenneth Kelly, this award is given to only 10 people per year. The honorees have included names you may know from Chuck Daly to Tom Izzo, Berry Gordy Jr., along with many others over the past 48 years. So to say it plainly, we are grateful and we want to congratulate Kenneth Kelly on that award. Our G-List guest today is Randalyn Henry. She is an art teacher at Auburn High School. She just completed her 10th year as a teacher, and I'm sure she has some great conversation for us, and so we look forward to that conversation. So our show today, of course, is brought to you by the consulting firm of Best Girl. So let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Best Girl continues to customize a solution that fits your needs. So we're going to go to Sean, and she's got a minute for us before we come back, and we'll go to our roundtable. So Sean, are you there?
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute. It's Tuesday. I hope you all are well and having a great morning. Here's some food for thought. A lot of people, a lot of people are waiting for motivation before they start. The problem is that motivation is unreliable. Discipline is what shows up when motivation doesn't. Not perfect discipline, not military discipline, just the simple discipline to keep the promises you make to yourself. Read the chapter, take the walk, send the email, do the workout, write the post. Small actions repeatedly, consistently will take you further than occasional bursts of inspiration. The life you want isn't built in one big moment. It's built in quiet moments when nobody is watching and you choose to do it anyway. Keep showing up. You got this. Now that's it. That's your minute. I want you all to all go out and have a great day. And if you don't want to, then don't you go ruining anybody else's, because they can do that for themselves. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
Thank you, Sean. Let's go to our roundtable and see what the panel's got for us this morning. Good morning, everybody. How we doing out there?
Doing well.
Good morning
to
doing
you.
well, thank you.
Good morning. Great day.
Good morning.
What's happening, Barbara Wallace Edwards, in your world?
time I'm in recovery mode here. I spent the last couple of days over in Atlanta visiting family, and my little 5-year-old great nephew kept me busy the entire time. I'm almost 70 years old. He had me out there in the backyard playing tag and jumping on a trampoline and pushing him on a swing and playing hide go seek. And I watched every child's movie I think there is to be seen. And he still cried when I left. But then I drove home yesterday, which normally would take me 2.5 hours because I ran into some really bad weather. It took me almost 4.5 hours to get home. So, yeah, I didn't get home until much later than I expected to yesterday evening. And but it was a great visit. I always enjoy it. But my Mozzie, my 5-year-old best friend, as he proclaims, called me at 1:20 a.m. this morning on FaceTime to say he missed me. So he woke up, he'd gone to sleep, woke up, and he knows how to use that iPad. He calls me on FaceTime and said, "Hey, On, I miss you. Good night." And I'm like, okay, no, I can't go back to sleep. But I'm doing fine otherwise.
Okay. All right. Barbara Larkin, what you got for us?
Oh, I just want to say it's a great day today. And in looking at some news locally in Birmingham, the University of Montevallo has named its first female president in the school's history. And they had a meeting with the UM Board of Trustees on May the 22nd. And her name is Michelle R. Johnston. She had worked at University of Montevallo before, and she will be stepping into that that position this month. So we're looking forward to seeing what she can do to make University of Montevallo a great place to be. The other thing is that in the business world in Birmingham, I usually read the Birmingham Business Journal. And there was something in this business journal that I've never, ever seen before. You know, they always have these lists, the list of the top businesses, the list of the top foundations, the list of engineering firms, law offices, and all those kinds of things. But this latest journal for June of this year, they are now listing layoffs. They're listing the names of the businesses and the number of employees that they're laying off, or if the business is closing. And of course, we've heard about Saks Fifth Avenue closing, Louis Vuitton is closing, and several other businesses. There are 16 of them on this list that are either closing or laying off. And I think this is indicative of what's happening in our economy. I've never seen this list before, so as we continue to watch it to see if it comes out again, we'll talk about what's happening in the economy for the Birmingham area.
Okay, good deal. Michael?
You know, it must be election time because things are just popping all off and stuff, you know. Have you guys ever wondered, you know, when judges come out and they have the big robes on and all that stuff, you ever wonder what they have on under those robes, you know? I found myself thinking about that. The reason being is Judge Eleanor Ross was exposed as the married judge caught having an affair with a law enforcement officer in the courthouse here in Atlanta, Georgia. Ross, the Atlanta-based U.S. District Court of Northern District of Georgia, who was appointed by President Barack Obama during his second term, is the same judge that dealt with Todd Christie and his wife and gave them the prison sentence. And according to records, she has been having a 2-year affair with a deputy police chief in her chambers during court hours.
Sure, she got a little
Yeah,
irritable. She need to take some stress off.
Within earshot of the clerk,
Michael. Yeah, I was gonna say she was doing this, and all the clerks said they could hear all the the noise during this period. So
she is not the first judge. Trust me,
oh,
she's
no.
just reported.
There's actually several judges here, I think, in the state of Alabama who was also got in trouble for the very same thing. You know, the story that I read included, I think, 3 judges here, as well as the one there in Atlanta. So they've all been in jeopardy of losing their positions.
Hmm.
Who would do that in the courthouse in the middle of the day? I mean, I guess if you're looking for some extra excitement, but she was married, or she is, well, I don't know whether she is or was, but now,
She,
but
right,
her
yeah,
husband
right,
is the assistant district attorney for Clayton County, which is the next county over.
right.
So things got to be pretty tight in that household right now.
You know it is.
Well, and
Mm.
I understand, if I'm not mistaken, that the man that she was having the affair with was also married. Is that not correct, Michael?
I think he is too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get that. You wouldn't think that would happen in this day of time. I mean, can like they
First,
could afford a hotel room, couldn't they?
you would think.
That's doing business hours, man. Shit, they ain't got time to go to a hotel.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
They were on the
anyway,
clock.
I found that to be pretty surprising.
I want to go back to the Montevallo story. I want to congratulate the lady at Montevallo and congratulate Montevallo. Montevallo, I want to just correct one thing you said, Barbara. Montevallo is already a great institution. It's been a great
That's
institution for the
right.
longest, ever since I went there. And
No.
That's right. Tom has his masters from there.
Oh,
the other
wonderful.
thing I'd like to say, and I think one of you guys sent this out about black enrollment falling at an elite Southern university. Who sent that out? Which one of you, Barbara, sent that? You, Barbara Wallace?
I don't think I did, but yeah, I remember reading it. Yes.
I think I got it from you, Tom.
It
I'm
got
sorry.
I thought I got it from you.
Well, I got it from somebody. Yeah, one of these. Anyway,
Yeah.
and it's a story we're all familiar with. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
we know what's going on and why it's going on, and it also sort of matches the story about Hegseth and getting rid of a lot of the black and women higher officers in the military.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their fight on DEI is just, it's
Disproportionately targeting women and minority officers. He blocked the promotions of at least 7 Navy officers who had been selected by a board of senior Navy admirals. Now, these are admirals who have done their career work within the Navy. Hegseth is a Fox TV guy, which certainly qualifies him to do almost nothing.
nothing.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, he had at least 2 of the officers removed by Mr. Hegseth from the promotion list are women, 2 are black men, and an additional 3 are white men. No female officers were included on the new 1-star list, which was released publicly in late May, despite the fact that women make up about 21% of the active duty Navy. The list appears to include only 2 non-white officers, even though sailors who identify as racial minorities make up about 38% of the active duty Navy. His removal of the officers from the 1-star list is highly unusual, said the current and former defense officials. The defense secretary is only supposed to pull officers from the list for moral, mental, or physical or professional failings, and he does not abide by that. So, I mean, that's not surprising. He's an idiot.
He is.
We're serving an
It's,
idiot.
it's it's Project 2025. That's what they plan to do, and they are implementing almost every one of those objectives they had listed there. So, we shouldn't be surprised, but it's shameful that they're getting away with this, at least for now. We don't know how. Hopefully, not much longer, but for now.
Well, this certainly is a stimulus for us to encourage all of our friends, especially our friends, our relatives, especially those who are reaching the age of registration for voting, to go and do that. Take them there. get them registered, and encourage them throughout this summer that voting is coming in November. Put it on your calendar. Make sure that you go. I'm going to be checking to make sure you go. This is so critically important
Yes.
because without us getting a change in the House of Representatives, we're going to have a problem. You know, if we do not make a change in the government, the legislative government, we are going to have another couple of years, maybe more, of just the same old song. We can't afford to do it anymore. We can't.
Yeah.
We cannot be the last of the people who are going to do well in the United States of America. We cannot allow that to happen. So we got to do our work.
But their popularity is shifting. You know, the MAGA movement was so popular at one point. You know, had so many people standing behind them. But even, Trump and his friends were playing this multi-day festival
Hmm.
around to celebrate the United States 250th anniversary. Well, it's now falling apart. There's so
It
many
is.
people that are pulling out. Artists who had signed up to perform are now pulling out and saying they're not going to participate. So I see there's a shift, and I'm hoping that transitions to the voting booth as well. Um, we, like
I
I said,
think
Barbara, we just have to work.
I
Go
think
ahead,
there are
Tom.
people who voted for him who now realize they don't like him.
Yes.
Right.
People don't like this man,
And
and
his policies, they
he
don't.
he trips out that people don't like it. When all the people are pulling out of this whatever this thing he was talking about having, I
Right.
think that hurt his feelings. He actually thinks people
Yeah.
like
Oh,
him
yes.
besides his wife, and she's the
Yeah.
only one I think who
Yes.
likes him. I don't even
I
think
don't
his
think she
sons
I
likes
don't
like
him.
him.
think she likes him.
I don't think
I
she
don't think
likes
she likes him either.
Yeah,
She's
she
him.
there
may
for the
not.
money. I don't think she really likes him either.
I think that was about a green card, but anyway, I'm glad
Green
you
card
brought
ain't
that up. I think it was Freedom 250 is what he was celebrating because this
right.
time will be USA's 250th birthday. And, they had kind of sold this as a nonpartisan or a bipartisan affair, non-political,
Hmm.
so to speak. And
Right.
a lot of the artists found out that that was just, a cloak mechanism there to hide the real meaning and stuff. And so that's why they started to back out. But the Commodores backed out,
Right.
a country singer backed out, and everybody's backing out. So now, he's pissed off saying he'll open up the show and stuff.
There
But
is no show.
what I find pretty interesting is this, and I'm wondering where this is going to go. And Barbara, you kind of alluded to this.
Hmm.
You have a lot of people that were part of the Magna movement that voted for him 3 times
Hmm.
that are now defecting because now it's
Right.
gotten to a point that things that they could act like they didn't see, they can no longer do that now because it's so
Right.
out in your face and it's been elevated so much. So you have them backing
Right.
off. Now you have the judicial system where the judges are now pushing back on stuff. They had told him he can't put his name on the Kennedy Center. And
Right.
then this $1.8 billion or whatever it was that they were putting up, no, you can't do that. So little by little, things are starting to fall apart on him. People are
Right.
defecting, elected officials that are not being beaten because you got some people in their districts that vote them out, even though they were departing from Trump and trying to do the right thing. They're leaving, and then other people are just leaving. So he's going to be left there with nothing.
Right.
And the economy is going, as my grandparents used to say, to hell in a handbasket, is what they used to say.
Quickly. Very
Yes.
fast.
Uh,
Yes.
You've got the Iran war, you know, where we now he's having fights with Netanyahu, okay, which I thought
Yeah.
was going to happen anyway,
Absolutely.
Right.
So his whole
When you
world is
have
coming
someone like that
down,
who's
huh?
people like that who are narcissistic, they don't have true friends. They are their own best friend. So chances are anyone that they have a relationship with is going to get tarnished at some point in time, because if they don't always agree with them, then there are going to be some issues in their mind. So I'm not surprised that he's having this issue with Netanyahu now. Um, I understand he's also now saying that he no longer is supportive of JD Vance being his follower. So he's
being the nominee for the Republican Party for
yeah,
president. Yeah,
yes,
well, JD was not in favor of going into Iran in the first place,
Right.
so that that was part of the problem there.
Well,
And
JD
stuff.
said he was an idiot back before he got to be vice president. And once he got to be
right.
vice president, he changed his song.
That's
Oh
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Very
he
yeah,
true.
he he sold
yeah,
his soul. He did.
yeah, yeah,
And a whole lot of other people in
yeah.
Congress have sold their soul, and some are trying
Right.
to back out now. But we shall see how that turns out. We'll see
Yeah,
how.
Well,
Vance.
Well,
my
he's
concern though
always
is
got
that,
he always has Joe Biden to fall back on. So
yeah, and
I
then he can
think
go
he
make
did
a
a talk.
meme of Obama.
He did a post the
Yeah,
other
I was
day
gonna
where
say
he,
Biden
he
and
mentioned
Obama.
he mentioned Biden about 6 times in that post. You know, it's like Biden ain't the president anymore, man. Somebody
Right.
wake him up, slap him, and tell him Biden's not you the president. Biden's not the
He's
president
he's
anymore.
always talking about Biden and Obama.
Yeah,
Always. That's his
yeah.
go-to. And I'm like, they're no longer president now. Talk about
It's
what you're
you.
doing.
You're the one.
It's you. You're the one. And I saw a post I think last night where he was interviewing him, Trump. He was blasting Bush for going into the Middle East, starting a war that he said was, uncalled for. There was no reason for him to do it, and he needed to be impeached. And I'm thinking, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? My
Yeah.
goodness.
Just
It applies to him directly.
yeah. Well, when I look at all of this, the thing that I'm concerned about are people that are running, that he is endorsing, that these magna people that are diehards are elevating or electing to office. And they're doing it
Mm-hmm.
by emulating Trump's behavior and aligning themselves with Trump. Now,
Right.
Trump is term limited, so he'll be gone in about 2 years. What about these people that are getting elected feeling that is the way
Right.
that you conduct yourselves in that position?
They'll
That's
change.
just going to create
They'll have,
another problem. So
It
what,
they'll,
Tom?
is.
they'll have to change. They'll have to tone
Well,
that crap
Yeah.
down.
yes, they will,
Right.
Tom. I agree with you
They
on that.
won't be able to threaten. Trump was able to threaten people like
Hmm.
Auburn University with
Yes,
finance, with
yes.
what he could do to take away money from them. And a lot of the institutions, particularly, backed down once they were threatened financially. And a
Hmm.
lot of what in my opinion, a lot of what they're doing is about money. They're getting filthy rich, and
Right.
they put up this distraction of all this dumb stuff, and so people like us sit here and talk about the dumb shit, and they're just robbing the country, man.
They
They're
No
are.
doubt.
robbing the country blind,
Hmm.
Yes.
and he doesn't really care. I want to go back. You talked about the Commodores. Somebody said something about the Commodores earlier.
I, I said
LaPred,
the
you
comment.
remember LaPred with the comment he
Yes.
passed the other day?
He
I
did.
saw
Oh,
So
that.
where he passed, yeah,
Yes.
oh,
yeah, he
did not
was,
know.
Yes, I saw that.
yeah.
Yes.
So anyway,
I didn't realize he moved out of the country.
I
I
didn't
Yeah,
think
either.
he's over in Australia. He's been over there a long time.
I think he's in New
I
Zealand.
saw
In New
that.
Zealand, yeah.
New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
he
where it
left
was.
either, but I
I
can
I
got
didn't
understand.
either.
one more thing, and then we can move on. I think I told you guys this, but Charles Tuberville is Tommy Tuberville's brother, and he basically says it's the same last name, but they're different values. He says that I feel compelled to distance myself from his ignorant, hateful rants. What I'm trying to say is that I do not agree with any of the vile rhetoric coming out of his mouth. So maybe his brother doesn't like him. He
Civil rights.
There's
certainly
nothing
doesn't
like.
agree with him.
Right.
No, he does not.
And he
Yeah.
wants
Right.
everybody to know that.
Exactly.
Right.
And he
Oh
will
And
yeah.
always be
I'll tell you
used.
one more thing I saw this week. There's a great story I read about Jimi Hendrix. You know, Jimi Hendrix was from Washington State,
Hmm.
and he in high school he took this music class, music appreciation class, and the woman basically told him that he didn't fit in the class. Um, that he was pretty much outside of the boundaries of what she was teaching. And so he basically let that go. And several years later, he came back to Seattle and to do a concert. And the lady went to the concert and sat on the front row. And Jimmy saw her, said Jimmy saw her. And as soon as it was over, he asked them if they could go and get her so he could have a conversation with her. And the woman came to visit with him. And they talked about this whole thing about being outside of your boundaries. Mm-hmm. And she said what he learned and what she learned was that there was a boundary that he was capable of operating within, but he didn't operate within the foundation that she wanted him to operate in. Mm-hmm. And she came back there and she apologized to him. And she told him, she said, you were just so far different from whatever I was trying to teach. And it wasn't resonating. And I thought it was a great story. I thought it was a great story about education and about this woman. And the fact that he's up there doing a concert with thousands of people and he recognizes this woman that he hadn't seen in 20, 30 years and said, can you get her back here? And the fact that she sat on the front row so he could see her is a great story. And
it is a great
I appreciate
story.
it. So anybody got anything else? So let's go to our financial people. Steve Simons is with us today, and he has another issue of It's Your Money.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Simmons with S&K Services, and welcome to today's episode of It's Your Money. You know, today I want to talk to you about a simple but powerful idea, and that is good plans today can create freedom for tomorrow. So here are 3 steps that can help us to plan for today and create that freedom we want for tomorrow. The first one is this: know your numbers. You know, we have to understand our income, our expenses, our savings, our debts, and don't forget about taxes and future needs. This gives us clarity, and clarity creates confidence. Here's number 2. Learn to pay yourself first. You know, sometimes we feel that, I got to have a whole lot of money before I start saving. No, sometimes we have to start small. So the key is discipline and be consistent. Here's number 3. Protect what you have built. You know, life happens. And so unexpected events can interrupt even the best plans. And so that's why protection is such an important part of a financial strategy. So we have to protect what? Our income. We have to protect our family, protect our assets, and our future. And this can help us to provide peace of mind. So today, ask yourself, am I simply hoping things are going to work out? Or am I building a plan that can help me live the life I truly want? Because a strong plan today can lead to financial freedom tomorrow that can last for generations. Thank you for tuning in for today's episode of This Is Your Money. So plan well, live fully, and make your life count. And remember, I'm Steve Simmons with S&K Services. With us, it's all about you.
Thank you, Stephen. That was great, man. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's see. So Hollywood's got the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Tom, we have the G list. And our G list guest today is Randalyn Henry. She is an art teacher at Auburn High School. She just completed her 10th year as a teacher. She is an artist, an educator, and lifelong learner. She teaches visual arts at Auburn High School, where she helps students discover their creativity, build confidence, and find their own voice through art. She's now in her 10th year of education, and she is passionate in making art accessible and meaningful for all students. So let's welcome Randalyn Henry, this morning. Good morning, Miss Henry.
Good morning, everyone. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
How are you this morning?
We're doing really well. We just finished our first week of summer, so I'm doing really great.
Okay, well, good deal. I'm going to let one of the ladies step up. I think we got some questions for you. So,
Okay, wonderful.
We have two.
okay, if I say Barbara, one of you have to decide which Barbara I'm
I'll,
talking about.
I'll go first. Good morning, Randalyn. It's so nice to
Good
meet you
morning.
too. And I'm one of those people who really loves art, so I'm very excited about you being with us this morning.
Yay!
Yes, I really am. I looked up a little bit of the information. I found some information on Auburn's first virtual sidewalk art contest, which was held
Yes,
back in the day, and you were voted most likely to hang in a museum, your artwork. And it
yes,
said that you were inspired by Elizabeth Cartlet. So I
yes.
was wondering, tell me about how you are in. Well, I noticed that your work looked very much similar to hers. I saw
hmm
one of your pieces and I thought, oh man, that's right on point. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with her and how you how it came to be that you really are inspired by her.
Okay. I haven't thought about this in a minute, so thank you so much for bringing that back. This was actually um post during COVID era.
Hmm.
And so the city of Auburn started a sidewalk chalk contest to kind of encourage everyone, even though we were distant, to still kind of be able to create and kind of give somebody, the people at home, something to do. And so I was like, I'm going to do this because I love sidewalk chalk. And I ended up choosing her because in college and throughout my professional career, whenever you are studying skin tones and you are studying different ways to portray the working man, we always default back to her and her artwork.
Mm,
And during that time was also shortly after the George Floyd incident. And so that was also something that was kind of heavy on my mind. And when I was trying to decide what to do for this show, um the inspiration was to choose an artist and their artwork to replicate. So most people are choosing, Water Lilies by Monet. Sure, some of you have heard of him before. Let's think of another one that you've probably heard of, Picasso. So very abstract thing. And I said, well, I want to do this. I want to do the working man, and because his visually he looked very similar to George Floyd, and I kind of wanted to push that in there a little bit. And so I just sat in my garage with a fan on me because it was dead summer here in Alabama, and just drew it out. I had such a good time doing it. And I posted it, and I was able to, in my description of the artwork, post onto our community website with the description and everything about what inspired me to choose the artist and the artwork that I replicated. And so I was able to kind of use that as a platform to put in my opinion and to talk about, you know, uh, how things have changed and how things have not changed. And so that was a lot of fun. And the fact that I was chosen to be, most likely to hang in a museum was great too, because that meant that even more people were seeing it and conversation was happening. So yeah, that was a really, really fun experience. And actually I've gotten to participate a couple more times since then. And I had a student participate who actually won Best in Show. So
wonderful.
that was a lot of fun.
Well, Elizabeth Catlett, for those who may not know, is a well-known Black artist who's been around for a long time. I think she was born back in 1915. And
Yes.
what she wanted to do was to express the struggle of her people during that time when she was alive in her artwork. Now, she was awarded a scholarship to attend Carnegie Institute of Technology in Pittsburgh, but upon her arrival, upon her arrival, they rescinded the scholarship because of her skin color. So she went on to Howard University in Washington, D.C., and from there she went to the University of Iowa and studied under Grant Wood, and she was the first African-American woman to graduate with a master's in fine art from that school. Iowa also was another hotbed because Dr. George Washington Carver graduated from Iowa State University, and a lot of African-Americans went to Iowa because Alabama would not allow by law African Americans to go to the schools during their lifetime. So Iowa opened up its doors to many African Americans, as other schools in the North as well, and in the Midwest. So she went on to study under Diego Rivera. Am I saying that right? I know that's Spanish.
No, yes.
Diego Rivera and his wife also. And she learned about the murals and all of that in Mexico. So Mexico has always had an influence on many African American artists. So I'm really excited. And your artwork looks very, very good. It reminds me of her very much. So, yeah.
Thank you. And Diego Rivera, some of you may know his wife Frida Kahlo. If you know that name, a lot of us thankfully have heard of some artists throughout our lives. So sometimes I like to see if you know who they are. Do the same with my students.
You give them a little test, huh?
Sometimes, and sometimes they know. They're like, oh, I remember that when I was in kindergarten. We drew, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, that's the person I'm talking about. So it's kind of fun. We are very fortunate in Auburn City Schools to have art kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah, my great niece, who was 12 at the time, was in love with Frida. She was so Frida oriented. I had to get her books and things because she loved the colors and all of what she produced. And so the colors seem to really kind of attach themselves to the children visually, and I like that. So.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
She chooses a lot of really interesting motifs too. She has monkeys and flowers, and so that's always really appealing to children as well.
Yeah, those monkeys.
Michael, I see you.
Yes. Randalyn, thank you for having us or being with us this morning, I should say. Do you sometimes feel like in general society that art is not appreciated sometimes? And if so, what do we need to do to maybe make them aware of the value of art and what it does as contributing to society?
If you're asking for what you personally, as someone who is sitting here with me today, or person who is watching this, like, what can you do because you find it important? Just sharing it with those that are around you. It's really interesting how, supporting local artists. I'm very involved in our community art center here in Auburn, and it's so fun to go to your citywide art festivals and your citywide cultural events because it's so tied and integrated together. And a lot of times when you go to these events and take your friends and your family and your children and your grandchildren, it provides opportunities. And most communities do have something like this. If your community does not, then maybe that is the thing that you could do to help share. Cultural events, church events, school events. There's a lot of different opportunities that you yourself could get involved in and help share that awareness, because once you experience it, you realize how important it truly is.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Barbara's?
Yeah. Randalyn, I see that you have served on the board of the Alabama Art Education Association. Talk about that and your role on that board.
Okay. Yes. I am on the National Art Educators Association. And within that, I serve on the state board as the chair for the National Art Honor Society and the National Junior Art Honor Society. And as a National Honor Society, like you would have heard of when you were in school or your grandkids are involved in. It is an opportunity to celebrate excellence in a specific area. And with National Honor Society, it's academics. With National Art Honor Society, it is involvement in the arts. So it is a group. We get together at school, and I have a group of students, and we volunteer at these same community cultural events that I'm talking about. We also work within our school. We're the ones that everybody calls and says, hey, we need a banner for the football team send off today.
Right.
But the students get involved in the arts within their community, which is their school. And so I serve on the board as the chair to be able to be an advocate of that within our state, and to be able to be support to other teachers within the state that want to start this program or need support with their program that they have. It's a really, really great national opportunity that we can get these kids involved in.
So,
Thank you.
Randalyn, I got a question for you. I was
Okay.
never any good at art, period. And I came to accept that a long time ago. But, and we had a great art teacher. This was in high school. Do you just give up on students if they're like, I mean, they'd give us some clay and we supposed to make something out of it. And so I'd make it round and put a couple of grooves on it. And they said, what's that? I said, it's an ashtray. So, you have students like me?
I do. And, and that's the thing that I pride myself as an educator, is that I try to really get to know these students and what inspires them and what drives them, because your interest may be completely different and is completely different than someone else. And especially teaching at a school like mine, we have over 2,300 10th through 12th grade students on campus. So there are a lot of different personalities there. And so it's my job as the educator is to find out what that kid enjoys. So, you may be really into your ashtray, and I'm like, this is great. Like, what else can we do to this to make this even awesome? Like, are you interested in paint? Let's try painting it. Let's, are you into music? Let's try to make a record holder or something. So, that's.
I wish I had known that then.
That is the goal as the educator, is to be able to kind of lure you in, because once I get you, I get you. And I have kids all the time. My favorite are my kids that just were not interested. The first day they walk in, they're like, I didn't want to be here. I'm here for the credit, whatever. Those are the kids that I really try to pour into. Because a lot of times those are the kids that need that outlet. And so I'm like, what are we interested in? Let's talk. There's a lot of conversation in my classroom. I try to provoke conversations as well. I always start off the morning with fun facts. Depending on the day, it's the different fun fact you're going to get. Sometimes it's just, this morning on my way to school, I heard about this. Or it's a random animal fun fact. And then the next thing you know, we have a 20-minute conversation about bears. So with the whole class involved. So yeah, I would definitely try to help you out with your ashtray.
Okay. All right. I didn't save any of the ashtrays. I let them. I don't know what they did with them. I think Mr. Malazzo, he was the art teacher. He probably threw them in the garbage when I left out of the class. I don't know.
Randall, I'd like to understand the business aspect of being an artist and art dealer. So tell me how does a piece of art gets its value? How is it evaluated and a price is put on that? Because you see these different renderings and what have you, and it's cost this. Always wondered, how is it valued?
Okay. To explain that, I have a little story to tell you that might help explain it. And this is, again, one of those fun facts that I like to share with students. Sotheby's Auction House you've ever heard of that. It's a large auction house. They handle high dollar auctions, everything from jewelry to high paintings, that sort of thing. They recently had a paper crown, a little plastic gold crown, come up for auction. And this was about probably a year ago now. It was actually probably a $5 plastic crown, and it ended up selling for $60,000.
Wow.
What made that have its value? Let me tell you why. That plastic crown is actually the crown that Biggie Smalls wore on his album cover, and you probably have all seen it, the famous portrait of Biggie Smalls, who is a famous rapper in the 90s. And he wore this plastic crown, and originally he didn't want to wear it. He said he didn't want to look like the Burger King, and he ended up wearing it. Well, now here we are this many years later, and this $5 plastic crown is an iconic image. It's on t-shirts, albums. I mean, if you don't really know who Biggie Smalls is, you've probably seen that photo of him. So how did this $5 crown end up becoming a $60,000 crown? It was the idea behind it. Might not necessarily be the item itself. The item itself may not have worth. However, the idea behind it, what it stands for, what it replicates, that is what holds its value. So a lot of times when you see these paintings that come up to auction that just look like splitter splatter, I'm like, why would anyone, why would you pay that? $1 million for a splatter painting? But it's the idea behind it. They were the first to do it. It's maybe what was happening politically or socially at that moment in time that inspired that. Maybe what gives it that value rather than the item itself. So hopefully that kind of helps put it into perspective on how that works. But my favorite one is that $5 crown. How did that go to $60,000?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I certainly appreciate that, and it gives me an idea. It's somewhat kind of like Bitcoin. It's an idea.
I don't know much about Bitcoin, but yeah, it's the idea behind it that has that value rather than the item itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Randalyn, do you have an opportunity to take your students to the Jewel Collins Smith Museum of Art there on the university campus?
Yes,
in Auburn?
I do. There's actually a program there, which I believe you may all be familiar with, that actually reimburses us for any bus travel. We're a little bit further than the junior high. The junior high actually is within somewhat walking distance. So sometimes they'll take cameras and do a little walk, and then go to the museum and have a little time and come back. I always make sure to take, if I can't take everyone, at least my advanced students who are putting together portfolios. We'll get on the bus. We'll go spend the day. Everyone there is so wonderful. And then they come back and they will actually reimburse us for our bus fare. So that allows us to have that opportunity, because buses are expensive. And so that allows us to have that opportunity. And also the Jewel Collins is amazing about sending artists and different artworks and information to the school directly as well. So we've actually been able to bring a couple of artists who were on display at the Jewel Collins. They've actually been able to come to the high school and speak to my students directly, which is really, really incredible.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is even more access, because you can only fit 55 on a bus, or get them off campus. It's difficult to get that many children moved.
Right.
So bringing them in, we can open up the auditorium and offer it to a lot larger audience.
The museum is working very hard and has for the last several years to really become another portion of education, not just for the university, but also for the larger community. And I agree with you, those experiences for students who may not have an interest in art, but grow into an interest in art, it really inspires them to do some wonderful things. Yeah.
Could you tell us the
Randalyn,
different
what
forms
impact?
of art? Go ahead. Go ahead, Barbara.
I'm just going to ask, what impact has artificial intelligence had on the art community and your students?
I was waiting on this one. This is the hot topic. My students. This is to give you an idea of their perspective. I have a T-shirt that looks like the Dare logo. From when I was growing up, the Dare, Dare to keep kids off drugs, but it says draw
Yes.
to keep kids
Right.
off generative AI.
Ah,
And my students love it so much. And it has affected us in a few ways. It makes my students start to question what they're seeing more. Is that real? There's a big, we
yes.
used to play in photography this class of like, is it Photoshop or is it real? We don't
Right.
play that anymore. We play, is it AI or is it real? And we look at images and we look for different things that are wrong with it, because AI cannot replicate human at all. It tries, but
Right.
it's very
Right.
limited. Um, and so I actually just received an email. I teach advanced placement and international baccalaureate classes, which are the highest level of arts available in K through 12. And students are
Right.
creating their portfolios for the College Board. And it has affected that a lot. And I'm actually going to training this summer to kind of learn how they are wanting to kind of address this. Because you
Okay.
can't stop them from using it. Um,
Right.
so how can you use it as a tool and not a replacement?
Very true.
Um,
Yes.
and so I'm very curious to see what I learned, but I've been receiving emails all week about, hey, we're revising this for next year's submissions and whatnot, just to see what impact it has had on this group. They're now kind
Right.
of reevaluating, because this is the first group of portfolios that they're getting from students that have had this much access to AI.
Yes.
So they're going to kind of
Yes.
evaluate that and see what it looks like, and then they're training us on how to address it for next year. Now, me in my classroom, we don't really use it, and my students kind of turn their
Right.
nose up to it, which is great.
Yes.
Because they need to learn that critical thinking. Now, once you've mastered that critical thinking, use it as a tool to help you do things quicker.
Right.
But you need to master that
Right.
first. So we have tried to use it a little bit. My students write these very large papers about what their artwork is about, and we have asked it to, condense this down to just the top 10 things that you think is most important, just to kind of see what it would give us. But other than that, the students are a little wary of it, which is interesting. Now, as far as when they go to
That's
write a
interesting.
paper for English, oh, they love ChatGPT. However, when it comes to their
Of
artwork, they're
course.
a little more protective over it.
Oh, good. Good.
That's
Thank
pretty
you.
interesting. I was going to ask you,
It is.
what are the different forms of art? I know you have abstract art and what have you. Give us some of those different forms that our audience may not be aware of.
Well, there's everything from performative art to musical art. I mean, when you really start talking about it, it's opened up to not just what can happen on a canvas. And there's so many different revelations that have happened over human history that have brought up these different types of art, abstract things like that, are all part of some sort of cultural or historical movement that are happening. So you see a lot of abstract in, the early 1900s, early 20th century, that sort of thing, but you don't really see that in, the 1600s. So it's really about that kind of progression of the human mind and human culture and whatnot. So it kind of depends on what part of history you're looking at, what types of art you're going to see. Nowadays, you see pretty much everything. I mean, I have a friend that's an impressionist art, which is usually from, you know, mid 1900s France. And then I have a friend who is, you know, really into performance art, um, which is a very modern thing that's only been around since, you know, my lifetime. Um, so it really just kind of depends on what part of history you're looking at, but there's a lot of different types. I know that didn't answer your question directly, but
That's all right.
It got there.
I think you're friends with Emily.
yes, yes, she and I met while we were both in college. We worked at a restaurant together, and we've been dear friends for 2 decades now.
Oh,
Good.
great.
Well, thank you. She told me she got a hold of you. I think we had some stuff that happens. You know, you have when you do something like this every week, you always have some stuff that
Oh,
happens.
always.
And so she said I reached out to my friend Randalyn, and
Yes.
Randalyn, we thank you for answering the call. It's
Yes.
been wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun being here.
So did you work at the hotel
No,
with
I did
Emily?
not.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay. I met her at
We
the
were
hotel.
before that.
Okay.
We were
Oh,
even
okay.
before that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, long time. Long
she's
time.
been wonderful. She's our communicator.
Yes.
She's been wonderful. So
She is
anything
definitely one
else?
of my best friends.
Oh, good. Good. So Randall, anything else from you that we haven't asked you that you'd like to talk about?
Um,
And you
well,
don't have to.
no, I was just thinking, earlier you had mentioned, you know, who is the musician that you had mentioned that his teacher was
Oh,
that
the
Oh, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimmy
Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Um, as an educator, that is something that I always try to keep in mind is to never tell a kid that, again, with your ashtray story, I never want to tell a kid that they are confined or restrained in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because just because they're not doing it my way doesn't mean they're not doing it the right way. And that doesn't mean that they're not doing it the way that needs to happen to open these doors or break these glass ceilings. Um, and I feel like, you know, he lived in a little bit when he was a kid, there was a little bit of a different time then. And so I'm really grateful that I'm able to kind of help encourage these opportunities for these kids and kind of see them break some glass ceilings and open some doors. Um, it's a very unique position to be in this day and age, especially in the arts, because the kids who choose to be in the arts are kids that are really looking for something, and it's a very interesting and fun place to be.
Well, you sound like you really enjoy it.
I do. I really do.
We appreciate you being with us this morning. It's been great.
Yeah.
Anybody got any final words for Randall?
Thanks for coming, Randall. We enjoyed you.
Of course.
Yes,
Thank you for having
thank
me. I really
you.
enjoyed it.
And Ruben, too.
Oh,
Yes.
he's finally asleep.
He's
Come
getting his
here. Come
morning
say
nap.
hi. Come here. I know. Come here. They want to say hi. Come say hi. Here he is.
He's so
Hey,
cute.
man.
Yeah. Oh, what a sweetheart. Yeah, a handsome guy.
Okay. All right.
That's my
Well,
guy. That's my guy.
thank you so much for being
Thank
with
you
us.
so
We
much. Everybody
appreciate
have a great one.
it.
You too.
Okay.
Do the same,
All
Randall.
right.
you.
Thank you.
So my closing comment for today, or as I see it, I have to admit I did not think the San Antonio Spurs would beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Final. I was pulling for the Spurs. I was a big Spurs fan when they had Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and these same people calling me, worrying me. Hold on. Trying to sell me something I don't want. I was a big Spurs fan when they had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, or as Charles Barkley says, Ginobili. But that traditional thinking was that they were too young and they weren't going to win this year. So, and that crept into my head and gave me some doubt. But the young boys proved me and all who doubted them wrong. They upset the Thunder, and now they're moving into the finals this Wednesday night to take on the New York Knicks. The Knicks has got New York and the East Coast excited about the possibilities. It ought to be really good basketball. So one final thing, and I wanted Michael to be on here for this, but Anthony Edwards from the Minnesota Timberwolves, when they lost to San Antonio, he went through went to the Spurs team, and he dapped everybody on the Spurs team.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, why would you do that?" He said, "Well, I didn't want to dap them up at all, but then what would they say about me? It would have been a whole other conversation. I gave them the respect they deserved. I could have waited until the end of the game. That's some people's perspective, but I did what I did. That's why I'm me, and y'all are whoever y'all are." Yeah. And anyway,
that's pretty funny. That's hilarious. I think he did that more for himself than for anything else, so he could just get it out of the way, like he said.
I love that. That's why I'm me, and y'all are whoever y'all are. And anyway, so we just want to thank you guys for being with us. We thank the audience especially. Thanks again to the TWT team, Barbara, Sean, Emily, Michael, and Joyce. And as always, a special thanks to. And that's it for this June 2nd in the year of 2020-26. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. Just if you see somebody, you got an extra smile, give it to somebody. It just might make their day. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Don't let a day go by that you don't take the time to make your life or somebody else's life better. Stay safe. Blessings. Peace.